Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. So we basically just had some questions from all of our club members just about you and what you do and your life and stuff like that, and we just wanted to know. So that's what
Awesome.
we're doing. All right. So the first question is, if you weren't doing this career right now, what do you think you'd be doing?
That's interesting. I would probably be a teacher.
Okay.
That was something that was always something I was interested in. It's what I went to school, university for, was education. I always felt in school, I always would look at teachers and be like, oh, I want to do that. Like I was always very close to my teachers in school. And I very much have and if you've taken my acting class, I always say this, my purpose in life is how can I help you?
Yeah.
So I feel like they're on the front lines of helping the most important people. So I would probably be a teacher.
Oh. When did you realize you had a love for theater and performing?
I think middle school was my first opportunity to work in the theater. It was a DARE program. It was like a little skit that we did in our DARE program. And then from there, I just went right into high school and did theater. I chose it over athletics. I was a varsity field hockey player in my freshman year. And in my junior year, I decided to choose the play over the sports. And then when I went to college, I continued with theater. And then I tried to leave it several times. I was like, I don't need this. And it truly was something I could not leave. I could not do.
Right.
And I kept finding little theaters and it just kind of grew after that. And then when I found the Naples Players, it was like done. It was my life.
That's good. Oh, where did you study? Like, where did you go to college?
So I went to college in a bunch of places. I went to Kean University in New Jersey, and they have a pretty good theater program. I went to my conservatory training is at the Neighborhood Playhouse School of the Theater in New York City. So that basically is a 2-year program studying Meisner. You do acting about 4 to 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's a 75-person first year, and there's 3 teachers who you break down into 25 each, and then only 20 to 25 are invited back for the second year. So I was invited back for the second year, and I did the second year, and so a lot of it, they work on body movement, they work on a lot of improv acting. We did a lot of film in our second year. You create your own showcase, you call your own, networks to come and see your showcase. I mean, it really was a comprehensive program and really immersive. So it was the best years of my life. I learned so much about myself and so much about technique, and everything that you guys hear from me comes from that school.
Oh, wow. Okay. What is your biggest tip about callbacks, like approaching callbacks? So how would you?
Make choices, make bold choices, be open to be flexible, and most importantly, have fun. The thing about auditions in general and callbacks is if you're nervous, you're going to be nervous, right?
Yeah.
I'm still nervous and I'm fairly confident, but you just don't know. And being nervous is good because it means you care and you want it. But overall, know your intentions, know what you want in the scene, know it well enough to be like, okay, this is what I'm going after, and try to go after it and be available to your fellow actor. There's a lot of different styles of shows that you're auditioning for. So like in a realistic show, that is basically, just your regular everyday conflict. That's more about listening and answering. If you're talking about a musical, well, what is this character life? And go ahead and exaggerate it, but still make sure you're listening and answering. If you're doing a farce, make sure, you understand the joke and you're not just playing it, you're finding the truth in it. I mean, the truth is always going to make people laugh and notice you more than showing off. Right. Which is on stage and in auditions. But you want to find the play for yourself. Just a small tangent. I hate singing auditions because I'm not like a super confident singer. So what really helped me when I went to school was when they broke it down and they said, well, it's a monologue. Why are you singing? Who are you singing to? What do you want? And when I'm able to go into the room and I know all of those things and I'm able to focus on those things, I stop focusing on how I sound, and the nerves dissipate once I start performing. So those are just some little tips.
Thank you. What's been the most challenging part about your job at TMP?
I like to do everything. I like to do props. I like to act. I like to direct. I like to teach. And then I'm also the associate artistic director. So I think in theater, I implore you to go and be multifaceted, because I think that's how you get hired. I definitely think that's a symptom of theater, because we're very passionate people and we like to learn. So I think you find a lot of people who can cross over into other disciplines. But the hardest thing for me is learning, what is my role today and how am I best serving the organization today? And that might mean teaching, that might mean directing, that might mean acting, but I like to do it all, and you can't do it all at the same time. So learning some time management skills, and I think that's something really important for high schoolers. You're demanded to do so many things. You have to study, you have to, you have tests and SATs and colleges, and make sure you get your extracurriculars in. And oh, by the way, you have to volunteer this much. And oh, did you apply to this? And did you pay? I mean, it's so much pressure. Learning how to do time management is a lifelong skill that you're always utilizing in your careers and in your lives. So it's still in theater, it's really hard because we want to be there all the time, and you have to rest. You have to rest.
Tips on how we can show rather than tell a backstory in a scene or during an improv.
Good question. That's a great question. What I like to call it is express, don't impress.
Okay.
So it's express yourself, don't try. So when we're focused on the performance aspect of it, so let's say we have a scene where I'm shy. Okay. The show is me like doing all the things I think a shy person does, and I shy away. But then you think, why am I shy? What is it that made me shy? Am I afraid of rejection? Was I rejected? So if I'm afraid of rejection, everything I say, I'm wondering if somebody's going to say no to it. So there's something behind it, so there's always a truth behind why you're doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So you can't play a character. You have to play the moment. That would be my best note. And my students have heard that time and time again. Don't play the whole scene. Don't play the whole song, the whole monologue. Moment to moment will help you get to the truth of what you're trying to express.
Good advice. Good advice. Who's your biggest inspiration?
I have a few. I have one of my biggest mentors, and the person who brought me up is Dallas Dunnigan, who ran the organization previous to Bryce. She saw a lot in me, and she was brilliant, and she directed me, and then she hired me, and then she made me direct because she knew I could. So she really changed my life. People at the Playhouse, my teachers at the Playhouse, were a huge inspiration. They saw something in me, and I remember our fight director. Mm-hmm. His name is Rick Sordelay. He's huge. He does all the Broadway stuff, and he's so talented. And he pulled me aside one day, and he's like, "Jessica, it's okay if you want to teach." And I was like, "Excuse me, what? I'm going to be an actress. I'm a serious actress. What do you mean I'm going to teach?" And that always stuck with me. And it was people like that who were telling me it's okay to go off and do something else. You don't have to define success by New York, LA, a TV show, a commercial, you know what I mean? So people who took the time along the way to see the value in me have been the most influential. And I have to say, I try to emulate that to the next generation as well.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you. I try.
What's your favorite show, like musical or play or anything, that you've either been in or like to watch? Both, whatever you want.
There's so many answers. First of all, I'm wearing my 6 shirt.
Gotcha.
But Okay, so okay, there's phases to answer this question.
Okay.
My current favorite musical has Come From Away.
Okay, great. Yep.
Because it is brilliant. My overall favorite musical ever is probably Jekyll and Hyde.
Yes.
Because the music is gorgeous, and I was high school age when that was coming up, and I lived in New Jersey, so I went and saw every cast change ever.
Oh wow.
Anytime the cast changed, I went and I saw it.
Oh.
So I was pretty privileged at that time. So I fell in love with that show. My favorite play, oh gosh. Recently I saw The Humans, which I loved very much. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's so many things I've seen that I absolutely love. A couple of my favorite play that I was in was probably Proof. Mm-hmm. Which was about a daughter whose father passes away. He was a brilliant mathematician, and he had schizophrenia, and she's afraid she's schizophrenic as well. An iconic role that I played was Sylvia, mm-hmm. and that she's a dog. But it's like a metaphor. And I still to this day in Publix get recognized as the dog. They're like, oh, you were the dog. And I was like, I'll take that as a compliment, but that's probably not what people think. So I love a play that, I love touching plays. I mean, when I directed These Shining Lives, I mean, that was such a beautiful, beautiful show. I love plays that at the end I can be like, oh, or like they make me laugh out. If it's funny, it makes me laugh out loud. If it's touching, I'm like, it takes my breath away. I just love stories. So it's hard to choose a favorite, and it's always evolving, Yeah,
it's always changing. That was good though. Would you rather prefer being on stage or directing?
Oh, it depends on the day. Okay. It really does. I've always said to people, I feel more competent as a director than an actor. Uh-huh. And here's why. I have control as a director.
Yeah.
I like having control. I like feeling in control. I don't like power. So that's the misconception, I think, with directing. A lot of people are like, ooh, I get to tell people what to do. But that's not what it is. It's really keeping out of the way and inserting yourself when needed, getting out of the way of the actor, but also becoming a part of the process when necessary. And I like the balance that I find between myself and a group of actors when we're working together. I think that's a hard thing to find as a director. So I love that. My passion is acting. I feel most alive when I'm on stage, when I'm able to play. I'm currently rehearsing a show, Becky's New Car, and it kind of ebbs and flows. If I've directed for a long time, I'm like, ooh, I got to get back on stage. And then like, if I've been on stage, I'm like, all right, it's time to get into directing. Or I'll read a script and I'm like, every season when I read scripts and we choose shows, I'm like, I'm directing this. And sometimes I want to be in this, but I have to direct this because so a piece will now call to me in different forms. So, I mean, doing Adelaide was a dream come true. And I would, if somebody said to me right now, I want you to do that for 2 years, I'd be like, peace. Because that was the most fun I've had. But it just depends. I think opportunity, I'm grateful so much to have the opportunity to do both all the time. Mm-hmm. So it just depends. I think too, I love to teach. I love teaching my acting classes. That's literally my favorite thing to do, because then you get into the nuts and bolts of the technique. And that's what I love, is like people who are looking for technique and watching those little like light bulb moments that happen. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, yes, now you own that piece of information and you will get better now off of that. It's not just me regurgitating and saying, this is how you do it. Mm-hmm. So I probably number one is teaching. Number two is probably acting, and number three is directing, but they switch. All the time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. In your field that you've like worked in, because you've went through college, you went through the conservatory, and now you're like at the Naples Players. So who was like your favorite person to work with, if like notably, I would say?
Oh gosh. Let me think. I've not nobody super notable as far as, I mean, I was in the pre-public cast of Hair, off Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who directed it or oversaw it was the guy who wrote it. So that's like my most famous thing. And that show was like, people in the audience were like Nathan Lane and Olympia Dukakis. I mean, they saw the show. So those are like my celebrity brushings in the business. Olympia Dukakis said to me, she was like, "You are a brilliant actress." And I think I fell over. So that was my coup. But honestly, the people that most inspire me, and this is gonna, get ready for the cheese. It sounds cheesy, but it is the people at the Naples Players. So I've worked with some of the most talented actors, most passionate actors there. Jamie Lynn Bucci is a great friend of mine. People have seen her on stage there. She is one of the most giving actresses and giving people I've ever met. And she teaches me so much about myself and how to grow as an actor, still being brilliant. And she's a great artist and she inspires me all the time. So there's a myriad of people at the Players who I just watch and I smile and I'm like, wow, you inspire me every single day. I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention my acting teachers at the Playhouse, at the neighborhood Playhouse. I mean, they were, they just got it. They got right to the core. They knew who we were. They knew how to poke at us and get us to where we needed to be. And I think they're highly underrated as geniuses of the art. I mean, they were descendants of Meisner, and they were just brilliant. And they were so influential in what I'm able to give back to this community. So I tend to lean more towards people who aren't well known.
Yeah, that's fair because they have more of a personal connection to you. So that's
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun to say I saw so and so, or I served so and so in New York, or I worked with so and so. But I think the everyday man usually is more impressive.
Yeah.
To me, anyway.
What's your most proudest moment as an actress?
Wow. That's tough. I have to say that maybe I'm not going to answer the question correctly, but I'll try. I think last year was the first year I felt like I understood what it was like to be an actor, where I felt somewhat in control of my process. Mm-hmm. I stopped judging myself. When I stepped into, when I did Guys and Dolls, I turned and looked at Craig, my husband, for those of you who don't know. And I said to him, I am not going to get in my head. I'm not going to worry about how I sound, how I look, if I'm good enough. I'm just going to go and have fun. Because what I always say, it's a play, not a struggle. Mm-hmm. And I decided that, and that's exactly what happened. So it was a moment where I was like, one, you can like actually put out in the universe what you want to have happen and then follow it. Right. But two, it was not all about me. It was just about having a good time and having fun. And so now my process as an actor is literally, I'm finally able to follow my own advice, which is go into the rehearsal room, throw it out there, see what you get, and find it. Don't try to get it right. Get it wrong for a long time, but keep playing, keep taking risks. And so I'm finally able to, because I've taught so much and said it so much and directed so much and directed actors to do that and have tried to coach myself into doing it, I'm finally able to like harness my energy and be like, okay, this is what I'm giving right now. And rather than getting a note and being like, oh, or I can't get it, it's like, okay, no, don't. The best advice I can give young actors is tension is and stress and worry is the disease and poison of creativity. So if you put all this stuff on top of you and be like, I'm not good enough and this isn't good and so-and-so's better, and you are not going to be open to any kind of creative energy. So that is useless. And you need to, every time it happens, because it's going to happen. I can't sit there and tell you not to do it. I still do it. It still creeps in. Right. But you just let it go. You're like, okay, that was a thought and now it's not. And now I'm moving on. And and things just happen. So now in the moment when I'm acting, it's not so much like, oh, I'm going to do this. It's like, I'm going to be open and available to see what happens. And then I'm like, ooh, I found that moment, you know, even in a virtual rehearsals, which we're in right now, which is hard for everybody. And I'm finding things. I'm able to find things because I'm available to it. So I think finally feeling confident as an actor this past year has been really, really my proudest moment.
Well, your performance through like Adelaide and like not caring and stuff like that was great. Like your performance, it just like it knew. Like I was like, that's Jessica. But on stage, I was like, she's giving it. But like, it's not Jessica. I was like, she's really giving it. It's great. It came through. I loved it. It was fantastic. It was.
Thank you. Yeah. It felt great. It felt fun. It felt free. So, and it was everything, because when you play a dream role, you never want it to end, right? And I didn't want it to end. But when I walked away from that role, it was the first time I went, and I guess this is probably the proudest moment. I left nothing unturned. I did everything I wanted to do with the role. Usually you look back and you go, oh, I should have done this. I wasn't available to do this. But I look back and I'm like, there it was. I did it. No regrets. So
good. Oh, it's so good. Are you thinking during like under the conditions we're living in right now, what will help you grow as a director? Like, are there ways, do you think, under the conditions we are in, that you could still like work, or is it like really, really hard right now? Like, how are you feeling under the corona?
I think what is really great about the people I work with is they inspire. Like, I think all of us have the ability to go, I can't, and what, and how, and there's really a community of the staff of the Naples Players going, how can we, and what can we do, and being around that right now is so important, because if you're around people who are like, oh my gosh, I can't, and what, and you're gonna fall right into that. Yeah. And so being around people who are like, what can we do, and how can we overcome, and figuring out how to give back rather than poor me, and we can't do our art is really wonderful. It is, I can't lie, it's difficult. You know, we are currently working on Pride and Prejudice. It's a movement piece, and there's a lot of like, you know, people are moving in and out of scenes, and practicing blocking is almost next to impossible. However, you can't say anything's impossible. Right. The kids, I know that they've started their own group, and I think they were meeting today together just to like kind of play. So we're going to get some groups together and at least like throw the lines out there and maybe like talk a little bit about blocking in Act 2. We don't know where that production's going, but I guarantee it will have life. So we'll figure it out. I think anything's possible. And one of the things that I learned in school, and I'm telling everybody, I've talked to a couple students who, you know, I guess especially the seniors this year, I think it's so hard. But I've said, you know, when I was coming up in school, YouTube was around, but being a YouTube star was becoming the thing. That you could make your own theater, you can make your own entertainment in your own format. We live in a time of technology. And so I already know people who are planning readings via virtual, or they've already done them. I've been offered to do them myself with people. I think we just need to think about what we can do, how we can stay connected, how we can be a community and be there for people. I think that's what's most important. So I think we can do anything we want to do. It's just a matter of having that mindset and just throwing ideas out there and seeing what sticks. So I'm very excited about the things that the Naples Players are doing and coming up with. And I think it will be beneficial to the community, because I think people are stressed and they need to decompress in any way that they can. So, and art's a great way to do that.
Yeah. How have you managed your like daily life, considering like we can't, like the theater's on lockdown now, so like you're home and everyone's home, but like we still have, you're saying you're going to like virtual rehearsals and things like that. So have you managed doing like going to Becky's New Car rehearsals and Pride and Prejudice rehearsals, but like all virtually?
You know, we've definitely altered some schedules because there's just some things you can't overcome. And then some people are, you know, we're a primarily volunteer-based organization, so a lot of people are, you know, they have to go deal with their lives. As far as, you know, Becky's new car, we're doing 1 week virtual rehearsals because we were almost ready to open.
Right.
So we're just trying to run the show and just have a good time and throw it out there. Pride and Prejudice, I'm meeting with people, the kids one-on-one to talk about character development and, you know, moments that they're having issues with. And then I'm trying to think about, you know, just getting them together and freshen the dialogue. It's a great time. What I found was so beneficial for Becky's new car was, you know, you get to a late time in the run and you're worried about blocking, and now, oh my gosh, we have costumes and it's happening and we're freaking out, and we never get back to the table.
Right.
And I thought that was really interesting because then we were all sitting down and we're like, okay, we're at the table. We don't have to worry about all that other stuff. We can actually listen and answer.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting, the things that I found intention wise, just by being able to do that. There was a freedom in that I hadn't had before. So that was really great. But I think what's going to happen now, and I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure everybody feels like we're here for a while, is we're just going to find out how to create shows like this.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, I have to say, you know, when you're involved in a community of people that want to see the community perform, they're to see that. So, you know, I'm going to tape one of our readings, one of our virtual rehearsals, just in case nothing ever happens with the show and there's something there. But I think figuring out how we can make art this way is the new way right now, is the new normal. And I think if people embrace it rather than feel bad about it, it keeps it alive for sure. And then people hopefully will be so grateful when we come back to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, completely. Yeah, coming back sounds great. Yeah, there's the whole thing. Yeah. Do you have any advice for graduating seniors who are looking to pursue theater in college?
Yes. This is very interesting because I've been talking to some of them. It's all about training, right? It's you want to go and get training. However, at the end of the day, anybody can do theater if they want to. So don't stress about where you're going or where you're getting into, or if you're even going to get to go. I am the quintessential story of you make your own way. I didn't graduate from my first university. I went to a conservatory. I didn't know what I was going to do. I worked at Kids Act for like 6 years, part-time, while working other jobs. And I found my way. I found my way because I couldn't do anything else.
Right.
So if you love this business and you want to do it, just connect to that passion, stay connected to it, and follow your gut because it's usually right. And enjoy your college experience. Something else I'll say too in these uncertain times is find something else besides theater.
Okay.
You know, don't let theater be your whole life. Theater's great and it's part of our lives, but we will tend to go, oh my God, like, of course we're all thinking, our theater's going to close. Is this going to, is this going to kill the art? Everybody's thinking these catastrophic things. It's not going to. It will survive. It's a strong community. But what else in your life is important? Now's a good time to do that, is to think about what's important. And college is an experience. It's a wonderful experience. Go and get from it what you can and have a great time, because it is the best time of your life. It really is. But just soak everything in, the experience, the friendships, the time. I cannot tell you how many people say it is the best time, and it really is. You just need to drink every moment in and not, and look for the happiness in it. Don't look for the strife. And if it becomes a different new normal, embrace it. Embrace it, because there will be a time when we look back on this time and we'll be like, wow, remember when that happened? And it'll be crazy, but you guys will be the generation that we remember for that, for getting us through that, for living through that, and for your strength. Your strength is what's going to get you through. So find your inner strength, not your inner strife. Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that is a Well, that's all the questions I have for you, but thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Our entire club. So yeah, be safe, be healthy, be careful. Good luck with your rehearsals.
Thank you.
I don't know what's going to happen with your show, but break a leg if it gets to that point. Hopefully we'll get to some performances.
It'll see some kind of an audience. We don't know what kind. But I also want to say to anybody who needs somebody to talk to or wants to do a session, wants to act, you know, reach out to me. In this time, I think we're scared to reach out. And I know you guys know me, and we all have a good relationship, but if anybody needs somebody, they need advice about college, about theater, about life in general, and they feel like they don't have anybody to talk to, please reach out to me. I'm here. I am a good ear. I got a lot of advice, a lot of life experience to share. And I think at this time it's most important to stay connected and not to listen to the voices in our heads. So
yeah,
that's how I want everybody to stay safe. Reach out. And if it's me, I'm here.
Oh, thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Of course. You guys are awesome. You're the best drama club ever. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you. Hopefully we'll see you again soon.
You will. I'll be doing something. I'm probably going to put together a reading for high schoolers, so I'll let you guys know.
Yes. We'll definitely be there. Definitely be there.
Awesome.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you.